Hello everyone, this is Zora of Zora What Ifs, bringing you a new video. And this is not the video to break my streak of inactivity. That was What If Toraybot Joined the Z Fighters, Part 0, which is the sequel to the end of the previous series about joining the Dragon Team, which I believe ended on Part 10? I don't exactly remember the numbers for that series. Either way, this video is not going out until after that video has been uploaded. That video I just finished finishing the editing. I finished editing it today. I have not yet exported or uploaded it because exporting would be a pretty laborious task for my computer. And of course, if this video goes up before that video has gone up, then you have the right to come to my house with a crowbar and beat me in the head. Now, speaking of beating people in the head with crowbars, this video is a video in which I read several Half-Life creepypastas over some admittedly pretty poor, probably, footage of Half-Life and various games from the franchise. Most of these stories, disclaimer, are about Half-Life 2. I am not using Half-Life 2 footage or Half-Life 2 Episode 1 or Episode 2 footage because my computer fucking chugs running those games. Like, the games don't perform well when I play them on my computer. Nor do I have any sort of capturing device to capture them from console, so, you know. But, either way, I'm going to be reading one story, then taking a break, giving a review, reading another story, taking a break and doing a review, so on and so forth. That is how this video is going to be formatted. And so, without any further ado, now we're going to be reading the stories. This first story comes to you from Some Ordinary Gamer's Wiki, written by Internet2. The title is Half-Life 3. In parentheses, the author states, "All of this is fake. Nothing happened. This is just a creepypasta by me. Enjoy!" And then the smiley D face emoticon. Very scary. I know the story hasn't even begun. But to be honest, you probably shouldn't be leaving a note like that on a fucking creepypasta wiki. I think people know. Anyway, sorry. Hello everyone. Something really weird happened to me. When I was playing Half-Life 2, I enjoyed the game. The world was normal. Everything was normal. Except one thing. When I played it one day, it was still normal, but when I got in the game, the map started normally. For some reason, the chat was activated. The chat was never activated in any Half-Life game except Half-Life 2 Deathmatch. Anything that I typed into the chat, it wasn't the message that I wanted. It was a link to a website. I clicked the link and it took me to a page. This page was blank. There was only one button in this page. The button's text said, "Download Half-Life 3. I was very confused. I thought Valve would never make a Half-Life 3 game. I just go ahead and clicked the button. When I clicked it, a file started to download. The name of it was hl3inst000.exe. It took 12 minutes to download. When I executed the file, it showed up on the installer. I followed the steps and installed it. When I got to my desktop, I saw a file called hl3.exe. The file's icon was a red Half-Life 3 logo. I was very excited to play Half-Life 3. I executed the file, and the game started up. When it started, the Valve logo and the intro screen wasn't there. Instead, the title screen was black, and there was only one button. The button was Start New Game. I clicked it, and there was only one chapter. It was named Game, lowercase g, capital A, lowercase m, capital E, and the icon of it showed a red Half-Life 3 logo. The game booted up like normally. When I started, I had all the weapons, but when I equipped a weapon, the weapon was removed from my inventory. The map was a night version of City 17. There were no citizens, no metro cops, not anything. I was very confused. I decided to walk around, but as soon as I was walking through the road, then Alex Vance appeared. She was not how I remembered. Her eyes were black, she was holding an axe with blood, and she had blood splattered on her shirt and pants. I got so scared. I moved one step back, and then she began to chase me with the axe. I was running and running. While I was running, a distorted version of a Half-Life 2 song was playing. Creepy Alex was still chasing me. After 6 seconds, the environment turned red, and my screen turned pitch black. Then, another map loaded. This time, it wasn't a night version of City 17, but it was GM Construct from Gary's mod. It wasn't how I remembered. The map's skybox was entirely black. All the map's textures were red, and there were dead citizens on the floor. A message from the Creepy Alex in chat appeared. Username, lowercase a, capital L, lowercase y, capital X, states, capital D, end bracket, 3, end bracket. I was scared and replied, Internet 1. What? Who are you? Why is the map like GM Construct? Alex replies, asterisk $, beginning parenthesis, $, pound sign, asterisk, $, pound sign, beginning parenthesis. Then, Creepy Alex appeared in front of me, and everything turned black. A cutscene played. This cutscene was showing Gordon Freeman in a dark place. Creepy Alex appeared in front of him. She slayed Freeman's body with her axe, and Gordon Freeman died. I got so much scared. Then, Creepy Alex looked in the screen and started to get closer and closer. As soon as she touched my screen, the game froze and crashed. I tried moving the game in the recycle bin and emptied it, but it popped up on my screen again. I executed it again, but this time the game background was red and there wasn't the Start New Game option. But instead, there was nothing. Just the Half-Life 3 logo and the red background. A button popped up called, Do Not Click This. I clicked it, and my computer BSOD'd. Hope you enjoyed my pasta. Bye. So that was Half-Life 3 by Internet 2. This story was posted in 2020, August 2020, edited in December 2020. Not sure if that made it better or worse. Let me just check the edit history again. It just says visual edit, so I don't know what that means. So, about this story. First off, I want to point out some obvious stuff, more surface level stuff. The prose is not really great, right? I mean, it kind of just feels stop and start. There are also some punctuation and grammatical errors. Now, obviously I can forgive the intentional spelling and punctuation errors, like in Alex's username, lowercase a, capital L, lowercase y, capital X. That's obviously intentional, right? And that's a part of the story. Sure, that's fine. No issue there. Just the thing about that is, in normal parts of the story, things are spelled wrong, or there's incorrect or weird punctuation. Like, let me read this. Well, hold on, let me fucking use my magical powers. No, I don't want a goddamn bookmark. I want to zoom in on the page. It was still normal, but when I got in the game, capital T, the map started normally. You don't need to capitalize the there. That's just an example. This happens various times throughout the story. Like, my goal when I read these is to read them the way that they are written. So, when I read something out loud and it sounds grammatically incorrect, it sounds stupid, incorrect, abnormal, well, you know why. I'd call the grammar in this story and the prose, I don't want to say outright bad. Subpar. It's subpar. Let's talk about the actual plot now. So, what is the plot? The player is playing Half-Life 2, enjoying the game, and then the chat, which allegedly shouldn't be activated, apparently is never activated, is activated, and he tries to type into it, which, I'm going to show this in the footage. I am pretty sure the chat is activated in normal gameplay in, at the very least, the Gold Source games. You know, Blue Shift, obviously regular Half-Life, and then Opposing Force. I'm pretty sure it's active there. Obviously, you got no reason to talk in it, of course, because you're single player. Obviously, it's active in multiplayer too. That's just a minor nitpick, it doesn't really matter. Then, when the protagonist types into the chat, it gets replaced with a link to a website, tells him to download Half-Life 3, in quotations. He downloads Half-Life 3. Also, another thing I noticed is the overusage of the word normal, primarily in the section of playing Half-Life 2. And also, I understand that I myself am not being very comprehensible right now at this moment. I am performing word soup, word salad, you could say. Just verbal diarrhea. Anyway, my point being, right, opens Half-Life 3, nobody there, no citizens, no Metro cops, no nobody. Alex Vance, covered in blood, protagonist Gordon running away, distorted Half-Life 2 song, creepy Alex chasing, exactly 6 seconds, that is a cliche. You know, sometimes some people get anal about it when they say, how does this person know exactly how much time passed? I will say that is a cliche, but at the same time, it's just 6 seconds. I mean, obviously you wouldn't be counting under normal circumstances, but you could just estimate. The environment turned red and my screen turned pitch black. Pretty sure that's a cliche too. Another map loads, GM Construct. From fucking Gary's mod. I will admit, I don't know nothing about Gary's mod. I don't know if there's some deeper thematic meaning behind the choice of GM Construct. I don't think so, of course. But you know, I don't know what GM Construct is, because my computer can't run Gary's mod very well either. I've tried that too. The skybox turns black, which is also a cliche. All the textures are red, and there are dead citizens on the floor. So, to me, and I think this is kind of obvious, I think this is the conclusion you're supposed to draw, Alex killed all these civilians. Alright, well, that doesn't make sense as to why she would do that. There's also no mention of dead Metro cops or anything, but considering the fact that mind you, I haven't played Half-Life 2 or the episodes in a long time. But, you know, pretty sure City 17 is supposed to be liberated by the time that Half-Life 3 would be taking place if it were to happen. And if it's not liberated, then at the very least, it's under, you know, rebel attack. So the Metro cops being gone, being dead, that makes sense to me. I also think even if that's not what happened, even if that never even occurred yet, that Alex having killed the Metro cops would also make sense, just because they themselves would be a form of resistance to her if her goal was to literally slaughter everyone who lived there. Of course, you don't hear about any Metro cop corpses in GM Construct. Then Alex kills Gordon too. So let me just dissect this. Alex is not afraid of killing. I mean, she killed people, yeah. Metro cops, Combine soldiers, you know, that kind of thing. Killing civilians for no reason, that's not a thing that she would do. Killing Gordon Freeman for no reason, that's also not a thing she would do, because the citizens are just innocent people, right? They didn't do nothing. If you're a rebel, you're fighting for good. There's no mention of her having killed a rebel. Except for Freeman, if you count him, which I would, obviously, because he is the main guy. He's the main resistance against the Combine. No offense to Alex herself, or anyone else fighting against the Combine. See, this is just a story about Alex deciding to kill everyone for no real reason in particular. She starts chasing after Gordon. Gordon Freeman is like her new best friend. Like, this is supposed to be the guy that you are helping save the world with. This is supposed to be your main homeboy. This is supposed to be your best pal. Whenever you get done with something, this is the dude you go up to, you high five. So I just find that to be a very questionable decision, other than just for the shock, the supposed shock value of having Alex just kill everyone for no real reason. Then I like the part at the end where it says, do not click on this, and the protagonist still clicks on it and their computer BSODs. That's not a fatal computer error, so if it was totally fatal, that would not at all be deserved. It would make me kind of sad in those circumstances, but, you know, don't click this, and then you click it and your computer crashes. I think that's kind of funny. Probably not intentionally funny. I still like it, though. So that's a bonus in the sea of mediocrity. I also don't believe I noticed any spelling mistakes other than, as I said, the punctuation. If anyone has got the link to this story and reads it and notices a spelling mistake, you can go ahead and hit me in the head with an axe or a crowbar. Your decision, your discretion. But so that is also points. So this just overall wasn't great. It has no real meaning. It doesn't subvert any of the themes of Half-Life 2. And even on a surface level, plot level, it doesn't do anything. All in all, it's just kind of inane. But now we move on to the next story. This next story is Worth the Wait, a Half-Life creepypasta, written by Super Saiyan Kirby, with weight spelled as in pounds or kilograms, so we're already off to a great start. There is an author's note here, and you know what it says is. Now, none of you guys would be interested into Half-Life or any other Valve games except for Portal, but yesterday I remembered the creepypastas everybody, and I mean everybody, were writing in August, and I didn't want to write one because, well, I really am not a fan of scary things. I know, I am a wimp. Don't blame one man for being scared of little creepy stories. Yesterday I took a view at the creepypastas the users wrote, and I became less afraid of these creepypastas. This isn't in the note, but I don't sound great right now because I just woke up. This is a different recording session, mind you. If you can obviously tell, then you know why. I began brainstorming a Half-Life creepypasta, in quotations, as one gamer will discover that Half-Life 2 Episode 3 might not be worth the wait. Wait, again, spelled as in kilometers. Kilometers? Fucking kilograms or pounds. Anyways, enjoy. Signed, Super Saiyan Kirby. I know we haven't actually started the story yet, but I just want to say, an author's note, I feel like this early on is just superfluous, right? You know, you can include that at the end, and that's fine. that's not an issue. Or in the comments, to be honest, that's probably better. Anyway, now I have to read the story to you, so get prepared. If there was one game I love, it would be Half-Life. Half-Life is about a scientist named Gordon Freeman who accidentally releases a portal of aliens. At the end of the first Half-Life, Gordon began working for the G-Man. Valve later released Half-Life 2, along with 2 episodes. Episode 2 ended in a cliffhanger, as fans were anticipated for the release of Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Unfortunately, Valve has yet to release the conclusion to Half-Life 2, and after many Easter eggs and teasers, Valve has not released the game. Or that's what I thought. Last week I got an email from my friend who was a worker at Valve. Apparently, he found a copy of Episode 3, and he said in his email that he spent countless hours figuring out what was going on. I was a bit confused about what he was talking about, but I found a code in the email, so I had to copy the code to my Steam, and after a few minutes of installation, the game was installed. I went to my desktop, and I noticed something strange. The icon of the game did not have the Lambda core the past games had. Instead, it had a strange icon with a bloody crowbar, as the crowbar is Gordon's trademark weapon, and a head crab. I wondered why Valve used this instead. That thought passed by quickly. I also took note that the name of the game was not Half-Life 2 Episode 3. It instead said ep3.exe. I decided to finally launch the game, and after a few seconds of waiting, the game launched. For some reason, the Valve opening logo did not appear. I decided that it was a bug, since a game always have bugs. I thought that the game's main menu would show the ruins of the Borealis, but instead was a bloodified shed with the corpses of Dr. Kleiner, Eli Vance, and a Vortigaunt. Also, there were only 3 buttons in the main menu: Start New Game, Load Game, and Quit. My guess is that it was another bug. I pressed on the Start New Game button, and I saw that there was only 2 chapters. Chapter 1 was called Murder, and the second chapter had the Lambda core, so my guess was those were the credits. I started a new game. The game started up like all the other Half-Life games, as the title said, Half-Life 2, Episode 3. After the title passed, an odd thing happened. I had all my weapons. In the games, the player would have to collect the weapons on their way through the game, but I had all my weapons with me, along with my fully charged HEV suit. I wondered what was going on. Then my wondering was answered. We woke up in the shed, as there were citizens begging towards me to leave them alone. I was confused, but I decided to begin. However, the WASD keys were not working, and Gordon was moving on his own. Gordon grabbed a butcher's knife and threw it at a male citizen. The citizen immediately died as blood poured down from his head. I could have swore I saw a chunk of his brain. Gordon grabbed the butcher's knife and started cutting the poor dead citizen's stomach open as his guts were showing. Gordon then put a grenade into the guts, and then after getting to a safe distance, the citizen exploded. The other citizens tried to get up, but Gordon pulled out a shotgun and killed them quickly. The game then started to go to static, and as far as I knew, Gordon was going to cut those citizens up too, but the game went into static, and a message appeared. The theme of this game is, be patient. The game then crashed. Thank God! I went to ask my friend via email, but he never answered. Instead, I got a message that said he hung himself because of Episode 3. I asked Gabe Newell with his email, and he said he doesn't remember making a game like that, and he would not do that to Episode 3 or any other Valve game. My guess is that my friend made a HL2 mod. I went to uninstall the mod, but it disappeared from my computer without a trace. Okay. Okay, okay, no, okay. So that was the story. We just read it. I read it. You didn't. I mean, maybe you read along. I did link all the stories in the description. A lot of grammatical errors in this one. One that I can easily point out first. Actually, let me just fucking go through and point them all out. As fans were anticipated for the release of Half-Life 2 Episode 3. That is a grammatical error. It shouldn't be as fans were anticipated. Anticipated, I mean, in the context that you would use anticipated, you would say, I've anticipated this. I mean, my cat just showed up. I've anticipated the arrival of my cat for 5 minutes. I don't know. That's how you'd say that. And, well, hey, I mean, he's here, so yeah. You don't say anticipated as if it were excited. Fans were excited for the release of Half-Life 2 Episode 3. That sentence works. Anticipated is not something you use in that context. And then, I agree. Then further down it said that he spent countless hours figuring out what was going on. This is a quote from the friend of the protagonist. Issue here is that he was in quotations. Hi. Then here is another sentence. It says, I decided that it was a bug, since a game always have bugs. First off, add a comma in between bug and since, and then it shouldn't be have, it should be has. Third, I think that's a stupid conclusion, but that's the least pressing issue because every bad creepypasta protagonist always thinks everything is a glitch if it's in a video game, so... Or, fuck, even in a DVD. Bloodified shed. Bloodified, really? Okay. Citizens begging towards me to leave them alone. I feel like that is an obtuse way to say that. You don't need the word towards in there. Also, citizens is capitalized and it's not the beginning of the sentence. This happens multiple times throughout the story, pretty much every time the word citizen is said. As for the message at the end, the theme of this game is, be patient. No, the fuck it isn't. Like, okay, I'm glad the author wanted to give the story a deeper meaning in some way. That's not the way to do it, because first off, I would call it a meaning or message rather than a theme, because a theme is something that you repeatedly call attention to and, like, don't directly tell the audience. I feel like a message is technically more overt, but even then, when a message is somewhat overt, there's also more to it in subtext. Mind you, I could explain this better if I wasn't half asleep. Like in Breaking Bad, a not-so-insignificant theme in that show is escapism, another one is ego. The ego of Walter White definitely plays into the message of Breaking Bad, but this is a goddamn Half-Life video, not a Breaking Bad video. I mean, they both take place in New Mexico, so... but anyway, no. The theme of the story is not patience, because the thing is, nothing in this story has indicated that. I don't know, maybe this is some The Outsiders, Ulysses, Moby Dick, House of Leaves level storytelling, and I just don't get it because my brain is underdeveloped and green. But nothing in this story indicated a message about patience. Gordon isn't going around killing everyone because you're not patient enough for Half-Life 3, or Half-Life 2 Episode 3, whatever you want to say. Either way, what I'm saying is Gordon is not killing people because you weren't waiting for Half-Life 2 Episode 3 or Half-Life 3. That nothing indicates that. And I guess the weight of Half-Life 2 Episode 3 being part of it, I kind of buy into, but that there needs to be more than one mention of it for it to be the theme of the story, or to be a theme of the story. I also feel like a story would have to be a lot longer than this to really have a lot of concrete themes or a coherent message. Also, the friend's protagonist hangs himself because he played the game. That's dumb. Why did the protagonist not do that too? Furthermore, why would you even do that? The game isn't scary. There's arguably been worse stuff in the Half-Life franchise before this, and even if there hasn't been, it's fucking fake. It's not real. It's a game. This protagonist's friend allegedly works at Valve. Okay. You clearly have enough pull over there to be fucking looking at Episode 3, Half-Life 2 Episode 3. If you can do that, you should obviously know what's happening in Half-Life, and a lot of that stuff would be as disturbing or more than what happened in this game. Come on, lock in. Also, the protagonist speculates their friend made the game in the form of a Half-Life 2 mod, and I don't think that really works, because I think you'd have to add it into the common folder of Half-Life 2 Episode 2 to be able to even use it as a mod. Maybe Steam worked differently back in 2013 though, so that's not a concrete criticism. The game disappearing without a trace is lame, but not impossible. I'm sure through coding someone could probably do that. But all I want to know though is your friend, protagonist, hung himself and you're trying to throw shade on him like he made the game? I guess I can sort of read between the lines and think that maybe this game is supposed to represent how the protagonist's friend feels and intrusive thoughts he struggles with. Granted, I don't think there's a lot to go on with that, but that's at least something. I'm not quite sure that's what the author intended. But then the friend hangs himself out of guilt. I don't know. Maybe that's it. It probably isn't. Either way, from the protagonist's point of view, they probably shouldn't be accusing him of making it. And then unrelated, I suppose it might just have been a stupid idea to expect someone who admitted they don't particularly like creepypastas to make a good creepypasta. This is obviously a first attempt. It could have been worse. Also, a neutral observation, not really pro or con. Gordon going on a killing spree for no real reason doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm not necessarily holding it against the story, because I think maybe he could be controlled by the Combine advisor or something, and that's why he's doing this. There's nothing to indicate that, but it's not impossible either. I think if Gordon is doing it all of his own volition, then that's kind of dumb. It's not something Gordon Freeman would do. He's canonically somewhat of a mischievous guy, even blowing up Magnuson's casserole at Black Mesa, but that's the worst thing he's ever done that hasn't been in self-defense, because you can kind of argue whatever he does to the HECU or Vortigaunt's is worse, but if people are trying to fucking mow you and all the innocent scientists down and you see them go to aim for you, I can't fault a man for fighting back. More on the story's message, I guess if you get pushed too far ahead without having any foundation built up beforehand, then you go crazy and start killing people. Not literally, but at least rushing headfirst into things isn't a great idea. I guess you could say that this is Half-Life 2 Episode 3 existing for the sake of Half-Life 2 Episode 3 existing, but it sucked, right? So I guess easy parallel I could draw with that is from my own experience, or through what other people do. Obviously, I upload Dragon Ball What If videos. Oh no! I script them, obviously. I know there are some people on this website who don't script them. Some of what they say is pretty coherent, even though they're just freestyling off the top of their head, not like spitting bars, but you know what I mean. And then some people, it's an incoherent mess. Now, I can't blame them for that, because when I speak on my own, it's pretty much totally an incoherent mess. So I can't blame them. I'm not judging them for that. I'm just saying is all. So if all my videos were just something I decided in my head, like the story, was just something I decided in my head on the spot as I was recording, then yeah, that would suck. It would be a story existing solely for the sake of a story existing, which, if you're gonna write something, you shouldn't be doing it like that, I don't think. Like, with the people who just freestyle it, I feel like the coherent ones are at least better, because they're telling a coherent story. Maybe it's not, like, the most meaningful one of all time, but the people who can, like, seriously go out there and just start recording and talking and not have a script or anything, and say something coherent, wow, that's pretty impressive. But, you know, I, myself, am pretty disjointed even now. So we're gonna get on to the pros. The pros, as in the things that make the story in some way redeemable, not pros as in the writing. Well, I guess the pros as in the writing is that generally the flow was alright. No real problems with it other than grammatical errors or weird choices of words. The icon described as the icon of ep3.exe is pretty cool. The bloody crowbar with the head crab, that's cool. I think Gordon having all his weapons at the start of episode 3 makes sense as well, because at the end of Half-Life 2 episode 2 he never lost any of them. I assume the shed mentioned in this story is supposed to be the one where everything happened at the end of 2E2, though I don't remember a Vortigaunt being there, and that might be my faulty memory's fault. Obviously Eli's dead, Kleiner's dead, a Vortigaunt's dead. I don't know what the fuck happened to Alex. No mention of her. Also, you give us a brief mention of Eli and Kleiner and a Vortigaunt, a random Vortigaunt, but you don't tell us anything about Alex? So all around, it could have been way better. It could have been significantly worse. So you get a 3.5 out of 10. The story is not outwardly offensive in any real way other than the just errors in it and the fact that it is presenting as something that it is not. When certain creepypasta reviewers review the story, even when they don't like it, they always have to add in that it's not a personal attack. I would just like to make it known that none of my reviews are personal attacks either, because I don't want the smoke from Super Saiyan Kirby. That's Kirby, but a Super Saiyan. That's like infinite power times 50. That's insane. Please don't hurt me. And so that is it for this story. Alright, I'm gonna be honest. This story is more of a special case. So, rather than just reading the whole thing out and doing a review afterward, I'm just gonna be reading it out and giving the commentary as it happens, as it comes into my head. This is Half-Life 2, Episode 3. As you know, when you are a Half-Life fan, there are 2 main games, 2 expansion packs for Half-Life 1, 2 episodic games for Half-Life 2, a spin-off series called Portal, and an upcoming VR game called Half-Life Alyx coming next year. But there is one Half-Life game that was planned to come out in Christmas 2007 that was never released due to how scary it is, and it's now vaporware and is called Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Here's the story. Okay, so that's the first paragraph. Something you're gonna come to understand about this story is that there are no fucking sentence breaks. This whole thing is like 10 sentences at most. And that's not for lack of length. Oh, no. If it were properly punctualized, is that a word? I feel like punctualized is not a word. I don't think that's a word. If it were properly punctuated, it would be maybe like 100, 200 sentences. I'm not going to count. But the thing is, it's not properly punctuated. There are more errors in that paragraph than you can even count on one hand. It's a run-on sentence, which the whole fucking story is practically. There's a litany of grammatical errors. I think Half-Life technically has 4 expansion packs. That includes Decay on the PS2 if you count that. And if you don't count that, then 3. And if you don't count Half-Life Counter-Strike, then I suppose just 2. So then that would be correct. But more importantly, really, there needs to be commas and periods in there. Some people complain when a story dates itself by mentioning the year. I honestly don't mind, unless it's really egregious. The protagonist mentioning that Half-Life Alyx is coming out next year from their perspective is fine. I don't think that's anything to get mad over. That's alright. Not an issue in my opinion. There are an insane amount of grammatical errors in this, so let me just break it down line by line for you. While at high school, my best friend of mine said that his father works at Valve, and his father said that a copy of Half-Life 2 Episode 3 exists somewhere in Valve Corporation headquarters. This is all one sentence, and it's still going on even past this excerpt. There's only one comma in this sentence, and it was between high school and my best friend, which is fine. I mean, that's the proper way you would use that comma, yeah. But the issue is the author clearly understands that you need to add a comma to certain sections of the story, but they refuse to do it frequently enough to break up any of the run-on sentences, of which there are many. Also, corporation is spelled corporation, and headquarters is spelled headquarters. What are you doing? The sentence continues, saying, "This get me excited." Great start. Because I think, lowercase I and I think, my father, who also works at Valve. That's not technically contrived to be fair, but they did actually add a comma between my dad and who also. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Would find it. Why would he do that? While my dad was leaving the Valve headquarters spelled wrong again, he stepped on a DVD disc that says Half-Life 2 Episode 3 Beta Version 2007 PC/Mac only, comma confidential. This sentence still fucking goes on, by the way, but the author did get better with commas for this duration. Also, the fact that the protagonist's dad just happened to step on the disc out of nowhere is really stupid. I think if there really is an Episode 3 beta on disc, it's not going to be in action nearly enough to just be out on the floor for some random chump to be stepping on. He grabbed it, went home, and showed it to me. Not showed, show. I got very excited, and I, lowercase I, grabbed the disc from my father's hands. I ran to my room, lowercase I again. Also, there's a comma between hands and I, which you should have fucking put a period, I believe. Installed it on my Dell Optiplex GX280 with NVIDIA GeForce 210 graphics card and played the game. I don't think we need to know all the specific details. I don't care about what kind of computer or specs you have. It showed the Valve logo and went to the main menu as normal. You've never played this game before, so you don't actually know what's normal about this. I started a new game and the game begins. Kind of a redundant sentence. It began where Half-Life 2 Episode 2 left off. I like that, to be honest. I think if there ever is an Episode 3, it should continue where Episode 2 left off. Alex Vance crying for his father, Eli Vance's dead body until the G-Man showed up. Number 1, Alex is a woman. Number 2, no commas in that section, what the fuck? He brainwashed Gordon Freeman, and Gordon Freeman started a murderous rampage. Even though this is really stupid, I feel like a minor pro I could give this story is that there's a real reason for Gordon Freeman to be going around killing people. G-Man hypnotized him into doing it. Personally, I feel like for whatever G-Man's goals really are, it's better that Gordon's allies are alive. But then again, I don't really know how involved he is. I know he's directly saved people from their fates before, like Adrian Shepard and Opposing Force. Yes, Opposing Force is canon, fuck off. They wanted to add him into an episode of Half-Life 2. There's a whole scrapped game over this, and fucking leaks, and a documentary. G-Man also, as far as I understand anyway, offered Alex a deal to save Eli's life at the end of Episode 2 in order for her to work under him in exchange. I'll be honest and say I've never played Half-Life Alyx because I don't want to buy the most expensive fucking headset in the world for one single game. And as I mentioned, my computer can't even run Half-Life 2 very well. It's definitely not going to run the no VR mod for Alex very well either. Anyway, all in all, I think it's stupid that G-Man would do that, but it's at least a reason for Gordon to be killing people. Also, I'll just be fair to the author, Alex wasn't out at the time of the story, the game, so whatever her deal with G-Man was, that I don't even really know about, just cannot apply here. You could maybe ask why G-Man would have Alex killed if she's supposed to work for him, even if that might technically be a different Alex. I'm not sure what's going on there, but again, either way, it doesn't apply, because none of that has happened yet, from the author's perspective and from the story's perspective. So, no issue. And also, this game was allegedly supposed to come out Christmas 2007, so they probably didn't have whatever's in Alex even conceptualized yet at that time. All around, no addition of Alex stuff makes sense. Anyway, continuing on with the story, I proceed to kill Alex, lowercase I, and all the resistance fighters, and then surrender to the Combine, and then all humans are dead. That's an insanely underwhelming way to write the story. You really did all that so quick? That had to take, like, at least 20 minutes, dude, come on. Also, although G-Man probably doesn't care about any of the other resistance other than Gordon or Alex, he probably wouldn't need them killed. If they were fated to die, I'm sure he'd let it happen, but he wouldn't will people into doing it for him. I think if the G-Man was really allied with the Combine, he wouldn't have even let Gordon out of stasis in the first place, or maybe he'd have tried to get Gordon on their side with this brainwashing ability he apparently has now. Either way, in that instance, he would be taking different actions than this. After that, the game cuts to Gordon Freeman, Alex Vance, Eli Vance, and all the resistance fighters in hell, turned into ghosts by the devil, and then the game ends. To be honest, I don't think I even need to explain what's stupid about this, but I will say, all of that was one sentence so far. What the fuck? With a question mark at the end. A question mark! That was the first end to a sentence in the whole goddamn paragraph. Then I, lowercase I again, got freaked out, and I, lowercase motherfucking I, got nightmares about this game. There's a comma between game and here's, but the H in here's is still capitalized. The aftermath. 2 days after I, lowercase I, got scared by this game, I, lowercase I, decided to make a playthrough of this game and uploaded to YouTube. The more proper way to say this would be I uploaded it to YouTube, and I, lowercase goddamn motherfucking I, made the ISO of the DVD, you mean disc, that my dad gave it to me, incorrect grammar, using ImgBurn, or ImageBurn, I'm honestly not sure. I, lowercase I, uploaded the ISO on Mediafire, and made a Facepunch forums thread about this game, and I wrote, you used a goddamn motherfucking knees-buckling lowercase I again. Anyway. Hi guys, God damn it! Anyway. Found a beta of Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Okay, now this is more of a personal taste thing, but I feel like beta should be capitalized here, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. I might be wrong on that. From a disc that my dad works at Valve found it on the floor of the Valve headquarters and gave it to me. This sentence ends with an exclamation point, and you know what? That actually ended the sentence. I'd personally break up what I just read into 2 or 3 sentences, but hey, you ended the goddamn sentence for once. That's nice. It gave me nightmares, and play it at your own risk. I'd either break this up into 2 sentences or put a comma after nightmares and then replace and with so. Comma, the, capital T in the. Creepy how this beta is the possible reason why this game is now vaporware. And then the author included a Mediafire link. I've linked all these stories in the description, but I'm gonna tell you, probably don't look for that MediaFire link. I got no clue what's on there, and I'm not gonna download it myself to find out. No, sir. Not me. I think my computer, functioning as it does, is more than well enough for me. So I'm not gonna download your link, sir, or ma'am, or whatever else there is that you would be able to say. I also like the usage of the term vaporware. It's not something the author coined, but it reminds me of vaporwave, so it's cool. And also, no, this isn't why there's no Half-Life 2 Episode 3. You're saying if Valve intentionally programmed the game to be this way, with G-Man controlling Gordon and having him kill every resistance member and surrender humanity and then kill it, and then go to hell. You're saying if Valve was able to make this game, that this is why there's no Episode 3 ever again. You're saying, like, just because they made a dumb little 20-minute game that they can never, ever, ever try their hand at Episode 3 again. That doesn't make any sense. That's just not true. Anyway, continuing on again, 3 hours after oh my god, posted that thread, I motherfucker got a first comment that says, "Wow, that's creepy." And in quotations, the comment that was given to the author was all lowercase, but I'm not gonna hold that against them because some people just type on lowercase. When I'm not doing things in a YouTube context, I guess, and when I'm not writing something for, like, well, I guess that already covers it. Okay, I'll just say if I'm on Discord, I'm on lowercase mode. I get that. If I'm on a forum, I generally like to type in all proper capitalization and punctuation and all that, just because that seems like the proper etiquette over there, but on Discord, it's fine. And then there are news articles about this game afterwards, and even Valve News Network uploaded a video about this game. Oh! And then the story just ends there. Oh, after this game, we get the first period of the story. Not even joking about that. Now, let me point something out. I think that this story was Google translated, and my indication for thinking this is that the author called Alex a he, and I don't believe that the author legitimately thinks Alex is a man. Alex has never stated herself to be a man either. There's no indication at all in Half-Life 2 or any additional material not in the games to ever suggest that. So I think that's a translation error, because Google Translate has been known to do that, especially in, well, I mean, shit, it does that even now. So, especially if you're dumping in this huge wall of text, yeah, it's gonna be inaccurate. As for the commas and lowercase letters, I'm not sure Google Translate can do that. I'm not sure if they would or wouldn't do that. I don't think it can, so I still kind of hold that against the story. I'm not sure on that, though. With it written as it is, so run on without any periods, and with lowercase and capital letters in the wrong places, I kind of doubt that that was Google Translate. I think they can do the letters wrong, so that might be it. Of course, that doesn't necessarily make the story any better, to be honest. It's dumb either way, but if it was really fucked up by Google Translate, then I could forgive the spelling and punctual and grammatical errors, maybe, even though it was not great to sit through. Either it was Google translated and all of what I just said is true, or this is a native English speaker who thinks Alex is a man for some reason. I guess that's not impossible, even if it's fucking stupid. Another nitpick is that if this really was on Valve News Network, and if there really were any news articles about this, a lot of people would have known about it. Explain to me why me and everyone potentially watching this video has not seen or heard anything about this, because it's fucking fake, that's why. Like, you can generally say whatever you want in a creepypasta, but if you're telling me your experience got hella exposure and it got news articles off your little forum thread, when I go to look that up, there better be some fucking articles and forum threads, dude. So, with how it's written, this story is like a 2 out of 10, maybe even a 1, maybe somewhere between 1 and 2. We'll say 1.5. 1.75? I feel like 1.75 is a little too high. I'd bring it down a little bit. Maybe down by like 8 points. I don't know. What's 1.75 minus 0.08? Oh. Oh no. Oh no. 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 Yo, why the fuck is Peter Thiel at my house? Get away from me, you ghoul. And as for our final story, well, I'll admit, like I think you know, from just how the video has played out, I didn't plan this very well, you know. There were 3 fandom wiki creepypastas about Half-Life that I read for this video. I proofread them ahead of time just to make sure there was nothing too bad in them or anything. Anything that would get the video taken down by YouTube or anything of the sort. And no, there wasn't anything like that. And this story that I had planned to read as the final story also doesn't have anything like outright offensive or anything like that, but the issue, well, is that it is an AI generated story. That shit sucks. Fuck that. I'm not reading that. Instead of promoting garbage, you know, art, quotations, rather than support something of the likes of that, instead, now that I have this free time, I would like instead to promote a real artist. Someone who I do personally know, someone who I talk to, someone who I can vouch for, someone who I am also hoping you will like the artistic career of as well. This person is someone I know named Ritz, his screen name of course, and what he does is he is the primary operator and main head behind Pocket Waffle Media. What is Pocket Waffle Media? Pocket Waffle Media is a platform in which Ritz himself, as well as several others, you know, musicians, animators, things of this nature, this is a platform where people like this are promoted. Think of it in a way similar to perhaps a collective, except instead of just music, it can be really anything that anyone within Pocket Waffle desires. And if you wish to look into Pocket Waffle Media, go ahead, go down to the description, check out Pocket Waffle Media at Instagram.com. You will find it in the description, or you can just go look it up yourself. There is also a NeoCities, which is pocketwaffle.neocities.org. These are the main Pocket Waffle links, but Ritz himself, his accounts, they are Instagram.com/SteezMonsta, that's SteezMonsta, no spaces, Instagram.com/SteezMonsta. There's also Instagram.com/TeriyakiSoulja, TeriYakiSoulja, you know, like Soulja Boy. As well as Instagram.com/ClayCricket, ClayKricket. And if you don't want to type in all these links, they are in the description, as well as the links to the creepypasta stories that I've read. And, you know, if you've heard this beat in the background, you know who made it? That's right, Ritz. There is also a Twitter at twitter.com/Ritz3000, or go to the Twitter search bar at Ritz3000 and type that in, and then go look for the profile. There is also a YouTube channel, which is kind of the least relevant thing. That's the thing that he kind of does the least. but it never hurts to be promoted. That YouTube channel is also Teriyaki Soulja, like Teriyaki Soulja Boy. Now I and he would very much appreciate that you go to these links, you go follow, or you go subscribe, or you go bookmark, or whatever you want to do. But that is going to be it for today. That's all the stories for now. That's all the promotion for now. That's all the shitting on the AI story for now. Fuck AI generation. And I'm gonna be getting out of here. If you like the video, leave a like. If you dislike the video, fucking hit me in the head with a pan, I guess. Have a good day, good night, good afternoon, good evening. Any of the sort. Anything of that sort of nature. Don't let Soulja Boy come to your house and try to make you play his game console, because literally the best game on there is Sonic CD, and it doesn't even really run well because it has input lag somehow. I don't know how you can release a handheld console in the 2010s and it can't even really run Sonic CD right. But that's just another tangent that doesn't matter to the video. And so I am finally going to be getting out of here. Bye.